don't don't actually don't don't go back. Just break the cycle and let it be done, because the cycle is going to be there. You feel me? The cycle is going to be there. And I also went to the agape service today. Since I wasn't going to see Carrie, I was like, yeah, I can like stay at home and I can watch the service. And Dr. Michael Beckwith was talking about the large menu, the big menu of options that is available for us to choose from consciously and subconsciously, the different frequencies and flavors of life that there are, and you get to choose at every moment. And when I see how in my life there were options on the menu that I chose, I realized I didn't want them, but I still went back and chose them again anyway, and they were just there, like ready, waiting, like welcoming me back with a smile. Those low frequencies, those salty options, like heavy salty options that we continuously go back to, those cycles that we keep going back to, those nails that we keep sitting on, those splinters we keep getting from rubbing up against that door frame when we could just walk a little bit more to the left. You feel me? Um, I feel like there is not enough conversation around how we have such a wide variety of things to choose from. And all of those different options that we have to choose from build our habits. I know there is kind of a lot of conversation around habits or like hustling or like work life balance or whatever, but really actually those little interactions that we have that we choose. Um, Something that was brought up was like being petty. Do you feel me? Um, if you are in a relationship with someone and you're co-parenting, um, and your child isn't feeling well and you call to check in on them, the conversation that you have with your partner reflects, you know, the options that you're choosing. You feel me? Like the way that your child's life is going to be, the experience that you're crafting for them. You feel me? Like on the one hand, you can call, you can check, you can ask about the facts, you can be like, hey, can I talk to them? It can be a pleasant situation, and you're just checking on to make sure that the kid is doing okay if they're not feeling well. And the conversation can be that. Or if you're somebody who uses your child as a pawn, because a lot of people do that, especially in communities of color, you feel me? Um, you're calling, you ask real quick how the kid is doing, and then you start telling your partner how they need to be doing better. You start telling them you start nagging them about different things, you start demeaning them, and then you start rushing them off of the phone, or you try to hold them on the phone. You're trying to manipulate them in this situation because of your sick child. Like, those are low frequency. You're going to keep inviting sickness to your child because you're going to want the opportunity to confront this individual around this situation. You're going to keep creating that cycle, and your child is going to pick up on that, even though you feel like, oh, I'm not even in the room, or the person may have stepped out the room. The children understand situations they have to for survival. Um, and even though we're not being like hunted down by wolves or pumas or whatever anymore in nature, we are still hyper vigilant of our environments and how we can best survive in them, especially in childhood. So they're picking that up, and they're seeing like, oh, when I'm not feeling good, these different situations happen. Either my parents work together, they figure it out, they share the information, I get to talk to my mom, I get to talk to my dad, and everything is cool. and then I feel better. Or they say, oh, I'm completely ignored. They're just arguing on the phone. And it builds a certain idea in their mind of what care is like. And so I feel like it's so important for us to have these conversations around those options that are on the menu that we can choose. We could choose to be petty if we feel like our partner said something that was a little sideways or their tone was a little off. We could choose to treat them a certain way or lead the conversation in a certain way. Or we could choose to say, hey, I'm calling to be focused on the care of my child, to focus on the healing of my child, to share love with my child in this moment because I wanted to see how they were doing. And this person is in charge of caring for them right now. And I'm going to communicate with them as clearly as possible so that this can be a pleasant situation so my child is in a healthy environment, right? Like, there make those different decisions create different habits and different environments.